What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing. We're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, we're going to be discussing which characters you should be prioritizing to get your gear for. I actually got a comment on this on my last tier list video. Shout out to Arth Van for asking about the UR gear priority. A lot of people actually upvoted this comment, so it looks like people really want to see it. So I'm actually going to, in this video, basically go over every character and if they deserve UR gear. So we'll go over to the heroes list here, and I'll basically just say if this character deserves UR gear and if she should make it. So first character on the list. Oh wait, before we actually hop into the video, make sure to subscribe to your boy Amazing. We are on the road to 20k subs, man. We're at 16k. You guys have been subscribing recently a lot, so you know, keep showing the support. Subscribe. Let's hop in. Okay, Meliodas, I think is worth getting UR gear. As you can see already, I have an attack crit damage and HP defense set for Meliodas, and I think it's worth to get for Meliodas because Meliodas is the main character of the game, bro, of the show. So he's always going to be getting good characters in the future. We already have, you know, a lot of really good Meliodas. We have Last Aid Meliodas, Assemble Meliodas, Trader Meliodas. You know, those are just a few examples. We're getting a lot of Meliodases now. And, you know, eventually when we get, like, Demon King Meliodas, you know, even, like, the Meliodas, like, I don't even know, like, around, like post Demon King fight Meliodas, you know what I mean? Like, we're still gonna be getting a lot. So I think Meliodas UR gear is definitely worth it. Which one would you actually make though? Probably like attack crit damage, like mainly, because most Meliodas are DPS oriented. But a lot of them do scale on CC as well, so HP defense is not a bad idea. I'd just say for like a free-to-play player, probably just attack crit damage though. But yeah, there's Meliodas. Diane, I would say Diane is not the most important in terms of getting UR gear, and the reason for that is because we haven't gotten a really good Diane yet. The only one that's like, you know, semi-relevant right now is probably like Tank Diane maybe for like Bird, but that's like it, bro. I don't even know. Ragnarok Diane's pretty decent too, but that's about it. You know, I don't really think she's worth it if you're like free to play. So skipping past Diane. Bond is worth for HP crit damage or HP defense, I think, just for the Purgatory Bond. Other than that, I don't really think he's worth any gear yet. You would think Bond would be getting like a DPS oriented character, which he did with Purgatory Bond, but it was scaling off HP, so he didn't actually need like an attack crit damage. So he needed an HP crit damage. So I actually gave mine HP crit damage and defense, so I'm able to swap out the defense pieces for crit damage pieces. So, you know, up to you guys if you want to do that. It's kind of extra, but I just wanted to have like a CC bond and then just a like a actual DPS bond. So that's bond right there. King, I have attack crit damage and HP defense. I think King's worth getting UR gear, and I think you probably already have like HP defense King gear. Especially if you've been playing for a long time on Grand Cross. If not, you probably don't. But attack crit damage is really good for the Festival King, the brand new one, and HP defense is really good for every other King in the game. So I think it's worth. I don't know about making two sets for him, honestly. If I had to pick like a set that was the most important, probably just HP defense, because you probably already have an HP defense set for King, just because of all the Kings that used it in the past. So yeah, probably just HP defense, but you can basically go with whatever you want. I think King is definitely worth UR gear though. Gulther, guaranteed make Gulther HP defense. Gulther HP defense is so worth it, man. If you guys do not have UR gear for Gulther, man, I recommend getting UR gear for Gulther because he is such a good unit, and I highly advise getting it for him just because anytime we get a rank up Gulther, he's going to be using this gear, and an HP defense is the best set for a ranked up Gulther just because you know, he's meant to be a support, and he's meant to just be, you know, he's meant to just be there to give you the tankiness as well. Merlin is the next character on the list. I would say Merlin, if you do want to get UR gear for her, most likely just make HP defense. And I'm saying this because the only time you'd want like an attack crit damage Merlin is for the Festival Merlin, and every other Merlin just takes HP defense. So she's not the craziest and not the most worth for HP for like a UR gear. But I would say personally, if you do want to make UR gear, give her HP defense. And then you like if you're using her in like you know, Crimson, or not Crimson, if you're using her in Grey Demon, like the Festival Merlin, then you could just give her like Meliodas' attack crit damage, let's say, and she'll be fine. So moving on, Guild Thunder, I do not think is worth UR gear. He doesn't really have any good characters, so I'm gonna be skipping over him. Gila, I do not think is worth UR gear either. Hauser, I don't really think Hauser's worth UR gear either. I don't really think he's you know, unnecessary. Griamore, you can have a case for Griamore because he does have the highest HP in the game as a Link. If you have a 6/6 green Griamore, you know, maybe. But as a free to play, definitely not. Definitely just skip out on him. Jericho, I have an attack crit damage set for Jericho, and I've had this for a long time. So this is, like, if you're a newer player, definitely don't make a UR gear for Jericho. But if you're an old player, you probably already have UR gear for Jericho, and it's probably attack crit damage. So, if not, you know, you don't need to work on gear for her. I just have this attack crit damage set from when she was, the main DPS on Guild Boss, like, back in the day, like, almost, like, 2 years ago now. So, yeah, you know, but Jericho attack crit damage is pretty nice to have, though. But, yeah, generally, just do not get her UR gear, but if you want to, you know, definitely a good idea. Hellbrim, do not get UR gear. Both versions of him suck. Alioni, don't get UR gear. Twigo, there is a case to get UR gear for Twigo, and that's if you run Purgatory Bond. If not, do not get him UR gear. Golgias, no UR gear. Not for Ruin, not for Jude, not for Frisia, not for Kane, Marmis, Gustav, Slater, Simon, Weinheit. All these fillers, bro, we can just skip past. Even Hendrickson, Dreyfus, we don't need. Elizabeth UR gear, I think, is definitely worth it. And especially with Bloody Ellie being leaked in the files, we're probably going to be getting a new Elizabeth. And Goddess Elizabeth actually just got her, what's it called? Her Holy Relic on JP, which increases shield strength. So that's pretty good. Generally, though, on a Goddess Elizabeth, if you were thinking about gear for her, HP defense is the way to go usually. But I have seen, like, attack defense Goddess Liz work as well, because they get more tankiness on their shield, because her shield actually seals off her attack. So, you know, it's up to you if you want to go with that. But for a free-to-play player, I would say just HP defense on an Elizabeth is fine. But yeah, Taizu, Skip Bell, Elaine, Skip Bell, do not get UR gear. Arthur, the only case I'd make for Arthur is if you have his Holy Relic and you really like using Green Arthur and Red Arthur. Those are, like, the main two. I would say, and then also if you use the Excalibur Arthur with Purgatory Bond team, then I would say, you know, give him some UR gear. He is worth it for that. Matrona is actually worth for UR gear if you do the bird. UR gear for Matrona is like actually like it's like crazy, because it's a good recommendation actually. It's a good recommendation because she's such a staple unit on the bird and even the new deer. Right, so like if you do want to make UR gear and you're trying to build a bird team, she's definitely one of the characters you're going to be giving UR gear for the red Matrona. But yeah, and then Hawk here, do not give UR gear. Lilia, you don't need to give UR gear at this point in the game. If you are using like blue Lilia, you know, you're probably going to be using her like, you know, with Pierce, so you could just give her like calming gear. If you are a whale, which, you know, you shouldn't, like if you're a whale watching this video, you probably already know you're giving Lilia UR gear for the blue one, and you probably already have her Holy Relic and all that. If you're a whale, you're probably already going to give Lilia UR gear just for the brand new blue one, the Christmas one. Because she with her Holy Relic is obviously like super broken, so, you know, I wouldn't even like question it. But if you're a free-to-play player, just skip past Lilia, she's not worth it. Escanor, I would say, is definitely worth UR gear, and up to you if you want to go with attack crit and HP defense, but I think both sets are worth on an Escanor, just like how they're both worth on a Meliodas. I think these two characters are always going to be getting good units in the future, and, you know, Escanor is like, you know, everyone like uses Escanor a lot, and I feel like he's definitely a character you'd be having UR gear for. You know, the one Escanor, even the old green Escanor. I don't know about red Escanor, but green Escanor and the one Escanor people still use. So, you know, UR gear for him is not bad. Galand, I'd say probably don't get UR gear. You know, there isn't really a case to make for Galand. Malaciela, I have a lot of UR gear for Malacia, as you can see, but that's just because I'm a simp. For a general player, probably not. But if you do, like, you know, if you have any character you simp as a waifu here, bro, you make UR gear anyway. So, you know, that's just my reasoning. Monspeed, you don't need to get UR gear. Gloxinia, you don't need to get UR gear. Droll, I would actually say if you use him as Link on a green Zeldris, HP defense UR gear, not bad. But generally speaking, no, you do not need UR gear. Froggen, you do not need UR gear. Derriere, probably like attack defense or attack crit damage. Just for like guild boss, like maybe. That's like the only thing. And, you know, like if you're using Derriere and like a Crimson Demon still, attack defense or attack crit damage gets the job done. You don't even need the crit damage part, but sometimes I'm just too lazy to change it out because I have attack crit damage on my Derriere. So, yeah, generally speaking, probably not. But if you do for guild boss and you actually use red Derriere, definitely make sure to give her like an attack crit damage, I guess. Esterosa, I don't have UR gear for him personally, but I think he actually is worth for UR gear. HP defense most likely, if you are planning to get for him. I probably will make for him in the future, but I think Miles is going to be coming around the corner as well, so I don't know if I'm going to be making him right now. But Esterosa is definitely worth it as well. Zeldris, I think, is probably worth if you have Green Zeldris built. If you have Green Zeldris built, HP defense UR gear is really good. Other than that, probably not. Like the older Zeldrises, you know, like I think red one has really high CC, but green one's obviously outshining him at this point. So HP defense is not bad though if you do plan on giving Zeldris gear. Death Pierce HP defense UR gear, I would say it's not worth it. But Death Pierce as a unit, as you guys saw in my tier list, he is a character that you actually can use on like basically everything. So just having him with UR gear is nice because it makes up for his really bad CC. But it's definitely not worth it if you're a free-to-play player. You could just slap on a regular HP defense and he'd be fine. But yeah, Dogeto, do not get UR gear. Denzel, do not get UR gear. Deldry, do not. Arden, do not. Valenti, do not. Easton, you can, like, okay, it's hard to say for Easton. You can though. And if you are going to make a set for HP defense, definitely. But I don't know if personally if I would be making a set for Easton. I do have one right here, but that's just because I ran Red Easton, the cleanse one on the Purgatory Bond team. So if you do use her on Bond team, like the red one, then sure. If not, probably not. You could just skip out. Mono, I don't think you need UR gear. Roxy, I don't think you need UR gear. Shin, there's a case for Shin actually. Like, you know, he has a decent, he's a good farming unit, but I don't think you need to give him UR gear for that. You can just give him a regular attack crit damage. Pamelo, you don't need UR gear. Elat, you don't need UR gear. Bellion, you don't. Jenna, you don't. Zeniri, you don't. Zartros, you definitely don't. Aaron, Levi, Mikasa, you don't. Ludo, I think is worth UR gear if you use Margaret. Right, Margaret Ludo is really good. Old Ludo is also very good if you run him, and if you're making a set for old Ludo and new Ludo, probably HP defense, generally speaking. But if you're using like the new Ludo for like a damage set, then you'd make attack crit damage, but you know, not bad. It's not actually a bad idea to make UR gear. So you know, if you want to make UR gear for a Ludo, not a bad idea. Garad, you don't need to really make UR gear. Tarmiel, I'd say if you make like triple defense is fine, but you don't really need UR gear for him per se. If you run him on your team, probably. If you run him as a link, you could probably just give him a regular HP defense and he'd be fine. But yeah, skipping past Tarmiel. Sariel, if you're running him as a link at 6 out of 6 attack defense, other than that, you're probably not using him on the field, right? So I don't know if he deserves UR gear for that, but you know, if you want to give him UR gear, you can. It's not a bad character to do so. Mai, if you want to, Athena, if you want to, Rugal, if you want to, Kyo, he's actually worth it. HP defense, I think. But that's only if you have Kyo built. If you don't have Kyo built, then just skip out on his UR gear. Nanashi, you can if you want. It's also like, you know, same thing with Death Pierce where like he has a passive that works in the backline that's pretty good. But it depends if you're actually going to be using him a lot, right? Liz unfortunately has a different UR gear set as the Elizabeth, so you can't actually mix UR gear. I would not make Liz brand new UR gear just so you could have her run better on like, you know, like Belmos or like Grey Demon or something. Like that's actually just not worth it. 11 don't, Jim don't, Mike don't, Will don't. Amelia, you can if you have her 6 out of 6, and I would make HP defense personally, but you can if you want. Ram, no, probably not. Ram, HP defense, because she is backline support as an unknown race character. I did make her. But, you know, obviously, like, these characters are mainly, like, if you want. Like, any collab character, honestly, is just based on if you want. But I'm just telling you as, how good they are, if they're actually worth it or not. But yeah, Beatrice, definitely not worth it. Chandler, you could make a case for it, but I would say, you know, you probably don't need UR gear. Sigurd, you probably don't either. Thonar, you don't need UR gear. Kusak, only if you're a whale. And if you're a whale, you probably already have UR gear, so you don't even need to, you know, ask me. Yeah, Brunhilder, really good for birds, so not a bad idea for making attack crit damage UR gear. And if you're making UR gear for her, make sure the rolls have crit chance as well. That's also like something specific that I went for on mine. But yeah, if you are building Brunhilder gear, attack crit damage. Terry is a decent option as well if you do actually run Purgatory Bond team. Yeah, other than that, probably not. Iori, I would say probably not as well. And then Miguelda, if you do plan to make UR gear for her for the bird, I would say make either HP defense or attack defense. And the reason for that is because attack defense, because Miguelda actually scales her healing on attack damage or on attack percent, right? So the more attack you have, the more healing she's going to provide for the team. HP defense just gives her more, like, you know, protection. But it's generally up to you. But yeah, that's basically it for the UR gear priority. If you should be making UR gear for which character. That was kind of a long video, man. But let me know in the comment section below if you guys enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future, definitely let me know in the comments what you guys actually want to see, because I'm down taking a viewer request like that in the comments, because it's giving me ideas for videos, and it's helping you guys out as well. So that's gonna be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe as always. If you guys want to see more videos like this, definitely let me know in the comment section below, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next Grand Cross video. Peace out and have a great rest of your day.